Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and in today's video I've got something extremely exciting to share with you guys, as today I'm going to be debuting my first episode in my brand new series called Battle of the Coasters. Now, basically the way this is going to work, I'm going to take two coasters, preferably from two different parks. I'm going to put them up against each other in a statistic battle to see which is better. Now obviously this is going to work very similar to how I did my Alton Towers versus Thorpe Park video, in the way that I'm going to have different rounds. However, some of the feedback you guys have been giving me showing that you kind of wanted some more rounds to go in it. Like, I didn't really go too deep. That was kind of me just testing the waters for something like this. But yes, in today's video I'm going to have 5 different rounds. I'm going to have the music, the theme, the inversions, the GForce, and also, of course, the merchandise. Now, obviously, if you've seen the video thumbnail and the title, which, yeah, I'm assuming you have, obviously today I'm going to be talking about Nemesis Inferno versus Nemesis at Alton Towers. Obviously, with a brand new series also comes a brand new schedule. However, nothing is actually going to really change. I'll still be uploading videos every Friday. The only difference will be that I'll be uploading an episode of this on the Sunday. And in terms of episode 2, I have no idea what I'm going to do yet. So I am open to suggestions for that down in the comments below. So, without further ado, let's get into the first episode of Battle of the Coasters. Okay, so moving into round 1, we have music. Now, obviously, nowadays, music is quite a big part of coasters. Obviously, all pretty much newly released coasters nowadays do have a big soundtrack behind them. The most common person, or the most common company to do these soundtracks is obviously Score, which makes some truly incredible soundtracks for theme parks. However, these coasters are no exceptions. Obviously, both of these do have soundtracks. One is obviously not really as predominant as the other. I'm going to try and keep this as non-biased as possible, because obviously this is supposed to be to do with statistics. But yeah, I did listen to both of these soundtracks and I have come up with a verdict. Now obviously I can't show them in the video here because obviously, well, copyright reasons. So obviously this round is going to be quite short because, yeah, there's not really much to talk about. However, upon listening, like I said, to both these soundtracks, I do have to come to the conclusion that Nemesis at Alton Towers is better. And the main reason for this is pretty much, if you go and listen to both of these soundtracks, Nemesis at Alton Towers does actually have more of a soundtrack feel to it. Obviously Nemesis Inferno just feels like it's just got a, you know, sort of atmospheric, sort of kind of generic sort of area soundtrack. However, Nemesis has one that is proper memorable, and yeah, I just feel like it is overall a better soundtrack. So moving into round 2, we have the theming. Now once again, this is something that is pretty predominant in most coasters nowadays. Obviously you see these large scale coasters having these large scale themes. Obviously the best example for this is actually Wicker Man. Obviously this came out in 2018. It is probably one of the best themed coasters I've ever ridden. Obviously at Thorpe Park, last coaster we had was the Swarm. Once again was a major step up in theming, and these two coasters are no exception. Both these coasters have extremely unique themes to them. Obviously they do share the same name, but I wouldn't exactly say the themes are connected in any way, shape or form. They are pretty distinctive. However, obviously only one of these coasters can come on top, and the way I'm going to be judging these is I'm going to look at each of the themes in its individuality and pick out all of the good parts and then overview them at the end. So first of all, let's head over to Alton Towers and take a look at Nemesis. Now obviously this ride is quite old. It did open in the 1990s, so it will be very understandable if the theming doesn't really hold up. However, obviously, the theming for Nemesis is absolutely phenomenal. If you've never been to Alton Towers before, the basic gist of the theming is the fact it's set around sort of like an alien that's been dug up through excavation, and yeah, it's kind of just taken over Forbidden Valley. Now the whole scale of this theme is absolutely incredible. If you've seen Nemesis for the first time for me in 2018 was like an amazing experience. I've never seen anything like it in my life before. And I have heard that the queuing experience from this ride is extremely good as well. Obviously I don't really have the courtesy of going through the normal queue for Nemesis because I actually do have a ride access pass. However, I have heard from a lot of people that Nemesis is one of the best queuing experiences that they have at the park, plain because of the whole grand scale of the whole station building and the fact you've got the tentacles spanning out, and yeah, it really builds up your excitement for the ride. Another thing that I do want to point out about Nemesis is also the station building itself. Obviously when you enter the station, you see this massive sort of like mouth type piece where you exit the station when you're on the ride. Obviously, I did only catch this last year actually. I didn't even realise this the first time I went on it. But yeah, there are some like rows of teeth around the outskirts of the archway that you obviously pass through when you're about to go through the lift hill, which is another really cool detail I love about this station. As well as that, combined with obviously the music which we talked about just a second ago, I would say this is probably one of the best themed coasters in the country. Okay, so heading now over to Thorpe Park, then we're going to be taking a look at NEMESIS Inferno. Now, NEMESIS Inferno did come out shortly after Nemesis. Pretty much was only really connected by its name. Obviously, it shares no real resemblance between the two. I do feel like if NEMESIS Inferno didn't carry the Nemesis name, there would be literally no competition between it at all, and I think a lot of people would like it a lot more. However, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the theme. Now, obviously, this is located in the jungle section of the park, so it's obvious that the main theming element for this ride would be a volcano. Now, obviously, this was a very, very interesting choice to go with. Obviously, the whole queuing experience, like I said, I haven't really been able to experience. However, I have experienced the top bit of the staircase just before you enter the station, and I must say it's probably one of the best themed areas in the park. Now, obviously, as you walk up these steps and are about to head into the volcano, obviously you see these massive sprouting sort of like vents sort of things. I don't really know what you call them on volcanoes. However, obviously these are steam jets, and on a hot summer's day, these are absolutely phenomenal to walk through and do set the scene extremely well. Obviously, if you've been to Fright Nights this year, or last year should I say, I'm not really getting used to saying 2020, you will know that they did actually glow these up for the event. So they kind of put a little light underneath the smoke to make it sort of look better in the dark, which was a very, very good touch for me. So heading into the station then, obviously there's not really much to see, obviously not as much as, of course, Nemesis Alton Towers. However, you do have hanging lanterns on the ceiling, which do create sort of like a creepy, dimly lit atmosphere. Obviously, combine that with the music that's swelling throughout as you walk down into the ramp. I would say, once again, this is one of the best themed areas or themed rides in the country. However, I do not believe it is on the level of Nemesis. Obviously, the head chopper elements and everything, the near misses are too great on Nemesis to just pass away. And I feel like if Nemesis Inferno did actually have more head chopper moments, it would actually make the coaster a lot higher in this round. However, obviously I'm going to have to give this point to Nemesis. Okay, so heading into round 3 now, we have GForce. Now, this will probably be one of the shortest rounds out of today's video, plainly because it's literally just going to be me comparing numbers. I'm going to be tallying up the total GForce for each of these coasters, and then yeah, pretty much just comparing the numbers. So let's not waste any time and let's head over to Nemesis at Alton Towers, which comes in with a whopping 4 Gs. However, just beating it, we then have Nemesis Inferno at Thorpe Park Resort with 4.3 Gs, just taking the point home for round 3. Okay, so moving on to round 4, we have merchandise. Now, obviously, both of these attractions didn't really have too much merchandise when they first opened. Obviously, Nemesis Alton Towers did have a little bit because that was their whole sort of marketing point for the ride. However, there is one huge factor we have to weigh in here in Nemesis's favour, and that is obviously the Nemesis 25 merchandise that did come out last year. Now, obviously, if you didn't already know, it was Nemesis's 25th birthday last year, so Alton Towers did bring out a bunch of new merchandise for it. I do actually own a couple of pieces of this merchandise. I do own a t-shirt as well as a lanyard, and yeah, I'm sorry, but this is really gonna weigh it in Nemesis' favour. Obviously, Nemesis Inferno does have some good merchandise, however, none of it is on the level of all the Nemesis 25 merchandise that did come out last year. I'll try and put a picture up of the t-shirt that I bought. Obviously, I don't have it on me right now. However, yeah, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, however, obviously, Nemesis Inferno is not going to take the point here. It is obviously going to go to Nemesis, plainly because of how cool that merchandise is. Okay, so moving into round 5, then we have, of course, got Inversions. Now, I'm going to be scoring this in a similar way to how I scored GForce. I'm going to be counting up the total inversions for each of the coasters, and yeah, comparing the two. So, heading over to Alton Towers with Nemesis, it has 4 inversions, and funnily enough, heading over to Nemesis Inferno, it also has 4 inversions, which I did not realise before making this video. So pretty much I don't really know how to score this. I guess I'm just going to count this round as a draw and give a point to both of the rides, because obviously I can't really score it any other way than that. Obviously inversions are quite a big part of rides nowadays, so I can't really just brush this one off and just not talk about it. So yeah, there we go, round 5 is a draw, and yeah, that totals to Alton Towers winning again. Obviously in last week's video I did do Alton Towers versus Thorpe Park, and of course Alton Towers got the win then, and they've got the win again. However, that is it for episode 1 of Battle of the Coasters. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and definitely leave any suggestions for this series down in the comments below, and I'll try to read as many of them as I can. So without further ado, I'll see you guys later.